Question I got for you. Now, obviously, you've heard this many, many times before with who funds Antifa. And that answer to that question could change within time because Antifa is a different organization today than 2011. Who is funding Antifa today?
So I get this question a lot. And a lot of people want me to say that it's George Soros that's funding Antifa, it's kind of funny because then if you kind of Google my name around in some of the Antifa Twitter circles, they'll kind of mock it, saying like, "Oh, I work for George Soros. He's not on the pay stub," kind of mocking me a little bit. Well, I can tell you that George Soros did not fund me when I was part of the movement, and there was really nobody who was funding me. And we were all kind of self-funded. We would do quote unquote like little fundraiser gigs or shows, music shows to fundraise for supplies, as well as a lot of us had jobs. And I think that reveals a danger because it reveals that there's people out there who genuinely hate America. They're not being paid to go stir up violence. They're doing it out of their own hearts. That being said, I mean, Antifa is much bigger than anything that I was a part of. I mean, some of the collectives are small that I was a part of are incredibly tiny when you look at everything that's going on around the country. And I'm very curious to know who is funding the Torch Anti-Fascist Network. This was actually created in 2013, so it was about a year after I left. And it was founded by 9 different Antifa chapters: Portland Antifa, what are they called? The Philly Antifa, the Rocky Mountain Antifa, and there's a few others I can't remember. There was 9 original founding chapters. Now, this is an actual traditional organization. They actually have an annual conference that's a 2-day conference. And the first day, the delegates of these 9 chapters, 10 now since Sacramento Antifa joined the fold, and they send delegates to the first day. And then the second day, they have a little bit of more wide open to the public, not really to the public, but more of the wider Antifa chapters abroad. Now, that takes a lot of money. I'm not sure who's funding that, but it'd be great if we can get to the bottom of that.
How do you find that out? I mean, can't somebody like yourself who's been a part of that to be able to infiltrate and find out who's funding that?
No, so it's actually really difficult because if I was still part of the movement and still part of like the Los Angeles like Anti-Fascist Network, I know for a fact that I would have never made it to the first day. So I may have gotten accepted the second day, but they definitely keep it nice and it's a very close secret. So
what does it take to get in there? What does it take to be one of them?
So a lot of people, I'll tell you specifically what I did yesterday, which is actually similar to. I basically did what I did several years ago yesterday. I basically showed up and I got them to say yes to me to something. I pretended that my hat or whatever, my beanie was messed up, and I tapped someone and I told them, "Hey, cover me. Like, I need to fix myself." And then you had 3 people who were like covering me or whatever. And that gave me an excuse to talk to them and actually say like, "Hey, so like, what's going on? Like, what's the plan? What are we doing here?" And back in the day, if I really wanted to be into the movement, I would have tried to get involved or in contact with some of the key leaders and key activists, as I did back in 2011. But this time, obviously, I just wanted to gain their trust so they didn't see me as an outsider who was just kind of there by himself. I didn't get any of their phone numbers, but I'm sure that I could have gotten connected with some of the key organizers or more of the serious organizers if I had asked.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know who the leaders behind it, the people that have the influence, because through that you could find out who's really funding it.